Solitary Echoes is a Half-Life 1 mod developed by Team Lambda, with quite basic premise. What if Half-Life, but Alien? Okay, saying it like that might give you an impression that this will be just a mod that reskins some of the vanilla enemies and calls it a day, but in reality it is way more than that. Even calling it a mod is kind of offensive to its quality. It can easily qualify as a true standalone game made using the GoldSource engine. Like seriously, if you told me this came out in early 2000s as officially licensed video game, I would have believed you. Now this isn't the full mod yet, but the demo containing only the first episode. It might take you around an hour to beat, so if it sounds at least remotely interesting to you, you should just go and play it. All you need is a copy of Half-Life on Steam. Then download the mod from its moddp page and put its files into your Half-Life folder. After restarting Steam, you should see Solitary Echoes in your Steam library. Okay, I will count to 5, and once I do, I hope that all of you who want to play this mod will be gone. Okay? So, 5! Okay, the rest of you, enjoy the video. As I mentioned at the beginning, Solitary Echoes takes place in the extended Alien universe. You know Alien, that movie series about that very angry cat. No, not that one, this one.
Wow.
The very first movie was pretty alright. I love the set design, but the pacing felt slightly odd. Meanwhile, the second movie is the best piece of media ever made. It's literally like the perfect Resident Evil adaptation, with such wholesome ending that it makes me very glad that they never made any more Alien movies. Now, Alien and Aliens as movies could not have been different from one another. One is a slow-paced horror movie, while the other is full-on action movie. And Solitary Echoes clearly takes more inspiration from the latter, while still having slightly unnerving moments at the start. I'm probably not going to call this one a horror game. We play as an a colonial marine named Riley Cooper, who I think was working as some kind of technician on this colony, but then all hell broke loose, and now he's one of the few people still left on this installation. Our main objective for episode 1 is to basically survive as best as we can and find other survivors, which we do, and after that we set a new goal for next episode. The story right now isn't anything spectacular, but we do meet an interesting cast of characters, so I am curious how it's going to play out in later episodes. So if we meet some characters, then they most likely speak to us, which means that they have voice acting, right? And that's exactly the case. This mod does feature voice acting, including our main character.
Do whatever it takes to survive, even if it means becoming the last human standing in this colony.
He sounds pretty alright, minus the GoldSource audio compression. His voice quite perfectly fits the classic protagonist's role. Reminds me a lot of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil.
Okay, don't shit your pants. You can do it.
Other than that, there is this doctor lady named Iris, who has this really heavy French accent.
It's gonna get dark without power. You better replenish your flares. Good luck.
She sounds serviceable, it's more her acting that could be improved. And last, the android named Marty, who, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure is voiced by an AI.
You know, I've analyzed your speech pattern and came to the conclusion that your sarcasm is just a way for you to hide your insecurity.
Editor's note: after a bit of research, I do believe that all of the voices are actually AI generated. I mainly came to this conclusion because there aren't any voice actors listed in any of the credits. Listen, I know that people have very strong opinions about this stuff, so might I curious that for the scale of this project that is made by like 4 people, I feel like that this is acceptable, but I would prefer that for the final release they would replace these with actual people.
Requiring maintenance.
There's also this intercom voice, which I just love how depressing it sounds.
Unknown life form has been removed. Have a pleasant day.
Yeah, you bet.
Now that we are on the topic of sound, I might just talk about the rest of it. Mod does feature some of the sound effects that are quite iconic to the movies. For example, we have our sirens and those nightmarish computers. As for the music, I don't remember if there is any. I mainly remember the atmospheric silence. Speaking of atmosphere, man, this is the best looking GoldSource game I have seen in a while. The lever geometry is very detailed, and there is also a high density of props, which isn't common sight in GoldSource games. Some props are even a bit too high quality. Also, the sheer number of new textures in this mod is just quite outstanding. Not sure if they were borrowed from somewhere else or custom made. It's still incredibly cool to have environments that's accurate to the setting. This isn't Black Mesa, this is a colony from Alien Universe. The character models are also really well made, especially the aliens. Similarly to textures, I'm not sure if they were ripped from other games or made entirely from scratch. No matter, they still look great. But man, I just have to gush a bit about how awesome this mod looks. Truly, modders are outdoing themselves these days. Slightly off topic, but I absolutely love this type of art style, which I'm not sure it has a name. Most people would call it a retro or low poly, but that isn't right. There are so many different types of low poly aesthetics that we should start grouping them. But that's maybe for another time. But if I were to give this one a specific name, it would be something like detail low poly? Maybe even a bit too detailed, as I did run into some slowdowns. I mean, I do have quite dated hardware for today's standards, but like, come on, this is just GoldSource. Who knows, maybe we are pushing the engine limits with all that detailed lighting and whatnot. Speaking of lighting, it's very atmospheric and complements the environments incredibly well. We also have a new dynamic component in the form of flares. Yes, instead of the terrible Half-Life 1 flashlight, we now have throwable flares. And they do work how you would expect. Maybe even too much? Oh, and you will be needing them, as this mod can get quite dark. But flares are a finite resource. So what are you going to do when you run out? Well, there's always your trusty blowtorch. I think this mod has audio balancing issues. Yes, this is your blowtorch. It can be used as an extremely shitty flashlight, but primarily you will be using it to open and break various things. In general, all interactable items now have a little prompt that appears on the screen, including breakable items. But this mod also has a different way to signal to the player what items can be broken. Yes, the yellow paint virus has invaded GoldSource. There are no adventure arrows, but as I said, they will show you what can be broken with the blowtorch. Primarily vent covers. Also, blowtorch doubles as your melee weapon. An extremely shitty melee weapon. I don't know how, but GoldSource scientists managed to add a magazine to your crowbar. Thankfully, that's not the only close combat item we have. We also get a Counter-Strike knife. It's a knife, it does what knives do, it stabs people. So finally came time for our firearms. In the demo we get access to limited but quality supply of them. First is a simple handgun. I think it's a modified Deagle from Opposing Force. Next is the pulse rifle, which is just the Half-Life SMG, but better, as it feels more accurate than vanilla, and yes, it has a grenade launcher. Last weapon in the demo is the shotgun. Oh, it's great. I love GoldSource shotguns. All weapons feel really good to play with. They are accurate and give the player excellent feedback. It's just a bit sad that the demo is this short, as you simply don't get enough time to play around with these. You don't even get the pulse rifle in the campaign, only the training course. However, we do have one more toy to play with. a placeable turret. It will drown the alien bastards in a sea of gunpowder. There is one issue, however. The placing mechanic feels really clunky. See, naturally when I wanted to place a turret, I would look to the ground and press T, which is the turret placement button. But the game would tell me that there isn't enough space to place one. Well, I'm not sure if this is a GoldSource thing or what, but to place a turret you need to look at least slightly higher than the ground. Once you realize this, it isn't that big of a deal, it's just a bit strange, and people who might not realize this, well, they might think that turrets are broken. Speaking of broken things, I found a funny exploit you can do. See, during the optional tutorial, you are given 3 turrets to play around with. However, when you leave the tutorial, you get teleported into the hub room with all of the turrets. And they carry over to the first episode. And I will be honest, they might come in handy during the last segment of the demo. Here we are meant to defend ourselves from a horde of aliens while we wait for our lift to come. During this section we do get 2 turrets to our disposal, but this way we can have more. Speaking of aliens, in this game we get to shoot down 5 types of xenomorphic life forms. First is the obvious inspiration for the headcrabs, the facehugger. These aren't just simple reskins. While the attack is similar, headcrabs don't skedaddle around the place like these motherfuckers do. Also, because of the way they look, they are very hard to spot at times. Next are runners, which is the result of what happens when a facehugger gets his arm legs on a dog. Strange, I wonder where did they get this idea. Anyway, this motherfucker has low health but is incredibly fast, and when it gets close to you, it will kill you in seconds. Next on the Xeno chain is the one and only Xenomorph. These surprisingly fill in the role of a ranged enemy of sorts, akin to a bull squid. They spew acid at you. I would say they are doing it a bit too much. Obviously they are extremely deadly up close as well, but I have mixed feelings about the fact that they are surprisingly easy to kill with just your pistol. On one hand, this is accurate to Aliens movies, where they would just gun them down like crazy. On the other hand, it just doesn't feel a bit strange when this apparent absolute killing machine is being shot down by few shotgun blasts. Then again, fighting a lore accurate alien would not be fun. Next up is Praetorian, which is this big mean motherfucker. Actually, they feel more like the actual xenomorphs than, well, the xenomorphs. They're very much a tankier variant of them. It takes a lot to kill them, while they just gonna get rid of you in seconds. I will say though, they definitely should give them some kind of ability to jump, as it's simply too easy to cheese one of the encounters with this bastard by just being on the other side of a large hole. You can make GoldSource look incredible, but by the end of the day, it's still technology from '97. I guess that will be it for the general overview. I went over pretty much everything there is in the demo. Well, okay, there are a few interesting things hidden here, like 3 weapons we don't get access to, a rocket launcher, a heavy machine gun and grenades. Additionally, there are hostile variants of the androids. It's clear that there is a lot of plan for this mod. I personally would love if some kind of prologue chapter was added, that allowed us to explore this colony a bit before it all went to shit, as I think that vanilla Half-Life showed that doing so always gives you a bit more connection to the setting. I also think that it could be a fun idea to fight against colonial marines. I mean, come on, just reskin Heku soldiers and voila. But we'll wait and see.
The good news is that you can take the freight train to the power plant, so it won't take that long. I also found some new toys for you to take with you.
So, all I can say is that I can't wait for more of it. Solarity Echoes is incredibly promising Half-Life mod, and I wish the development team manages to finish it.
I can treat this wound. You'll still be ugly though.
You know who else is ugly? You if you don't like and subscribe, baby!